How to write a metal riff in drop D tuning. Here it goes. Sup my dogs, this is Mike from Guitar Essentials, and in this lesson I'm going to show you what drop D tuning is and how to write metal riffs in drop D. Let's get started. What is drop D tuning? So drop D tuning is when we tune our 6th string or low E string to D. Now, mind you, you can be in drop C tuning, drop A tuning. It depends where your guitar is set. But right now my guitar is in E standard tuning. So what we're going to do is tune to drop D tuning by ear. We're going to hit the 4th string, which is the D string, and then the 6th string. You'll hear how they're off in pitch. So we're going to hit those two and then lower the 6th string to D. You'll hear the waves of sound come together as one. So check it out. So you can hear how the waves get all weird and they're fluttery and then they come together into one sound. So now our 4th string is D and our 6th string is D an octave lower. Now of course you can use a tuner, but I do recommend trying it by ear first. Now, if you want to tune to drop C or drop A or whatever it may be, feel free to leave that in the comments. I can spell out what each string would be for those particular tunings. So now what I want to go over, the second part, is what I'll call binary code. So binary code is a computer coding system that uses zeros and ones. So I'm calling it this in order to make it very simple, that we're just going to start with open 6th string, and then the 1st fret, 0 and 1.
Numbers suck. There's like too many of them and stuff.
Very much like Jaws, right? And then also we'll do it as a power chord. What's so cool about drop D, a power chord, is just opens 0, 0, 0. Or you just bar it, 1, 1, 1, or whatever fret you choose. We're just going to use zeros and ones for now. So I think if you're just getting started for the first time, take 0 and 1, and I'm going to just kind of give you examples of riffs that I'll create with just using 0 and 1. Depending on how many times you hit each one, you can create tons of different rhythms with just 1 and 0. Very simple. So now if we take the open D and go an octave up on the same string, it's at the 12th fret. And then the 1, 12 frets higher, is the 13th fret. So now let's use that. So you can slide up to it, you can slide down from it, you can stay up here. Okay, so you can experiment with that and just come up with something very simple based off of 1st fret, open, and an octave higher. So let's take the 0, 1 and add another fret. I like to add the 4th fret. It creates kind of a Phrygian dominant sound. And if you don't know the theory on that, doesn't matter. It just sounds cool. Use your ear to figure out frets that sound cool even if you don't know any music theory. So and you could use one finger, or you could use your pinky there. Something like that. Sepultura's Territory uses something like that. I don't know if it's in drop D. I think it is, but it's been a while. So that sounds something like this. Very simple riff, but sounds really cool. Now you can also do something chromatic, which means going up a fret at a time like this. The song New Level by Pantera uses a riff that uses chromaticism. They do it in standard tuning, but for now I'll just show you in drop D. All right, so that's a really cool riff, and notice it starts off without palm muting, and then you could add palm muting later. Palm muting is when you take the side of your hand, the karate chop portion, and put your palm right where the strings meet the bridge. Here's another example, just messing around with open 1, 2, and 3 fret-wise. All right, so experiment with that, come up with your own riffs. Remember, it could be very simple, and you can expand on it, make it a lot more complex. So the next thing I would recommend is learning the natural minor scale. And since we're in drop D, we're going to center around D natural minor scale. Now, of course, you can add notes, but it gives you a framework and a structure to start with. So we're going to start on the 6th string, and remember, since the 6th string is tuned to D, the 4th string is also D, so those fret numbers are going to apply. They're going to be the same. So what that means is a whole step is when we skip a fret, or 2 frets higher, so D to E, half step E to F, whole step F to G, whole step G to A, half step A to B flat. It's the only accidental, flat meaning that's an accidental. Then whole step, and then one more whole step, and we're back to the root. So the pattern, or mathematical pattern, for a natural minor scale is whole step, half step, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. So once you learn this scale, practice it up and down. So it's good to know the fret numbers as well as the pitches. Now that will be the same exact thing on the 4th string. And now on the 5th string, we'll start at D, which is 5th fret, 5th string, and we can whole. And then we're at D up here on the 17th fret. Practice that backwards. And it's always good to go down from there. 3rd fret, 1st fret, open. And those notes are D, C, B flat, A. Now you can see from the fretboard diagram below, all those notes are mapped out. So if you get this down, in your head you can visualize the notes, start to memorize them, and that's your musical palette to work from. So what I'm going to do is give you kind of a brainstorming idea of if I was to write a riff, how would I do it using that palette? So we'll start with 5, 7, 8 on the 5th string. Five, 7, 8 on the 4th string. So that could be a riff in itself, but I may mix up the notes and make it more interesting, right? I may go. I may do that 3 times and then have a tail, a change to the end of the riff. Something like that. I would experiment with it, find something I like, and then go from there. And the articulation is important too. How you're picking the notes. So that's tremolo picking, where you do 4 picks per note, alternate picking, down, up, down, up. All right, having the opens in between. You could change it up. So really, the sky is the limit to the amount of different possibilities that you can do. You can also use hammer-ons, where you hammer the neck pick once, and then I hammer again. You can do the reverse, pull-offs. Pick once, pull off 2 notes. All right, so think of those. You could use harmonics. That's a 5th fret harmonic where you barely press down but put your finger right over the 5th fret wire. And artificial harmonics. Now we're using the structure of the natural minor scale. If you find a note that's outside and you just hit it and you like that note and there's theory applied, it could be the harmonic minor. It doesn't matter so much if you don't know the theory. If you like the sound, use it, put it in your riff. Now another thing I may do is use the open 4th string and do a pattern. So I'm doing like 12, 8, 0 on the 4th string. Then I'll go down and do a sequence. 10, 7, 0. 8, 5, 0. 7, 3, 0. Add some more picking. And I'm using pull-offs now because I'm going faster. Now, the same would apply to the 5th string. Could do it also on the 6th string. Now I hit a note that's outside the scale. It sounded cool. Maybe I'll use that. That's fine. All right, and then also you can play chords out of this. Now if we're sticking to the natural minor scale and we did chords, your standard power chords, there's going to be a weird one. So what I mean is you have your opens. Then to keep this B flat, we could go 1st fret, and if you like that, that's fine. But it would be 2, 1, 2, which is a cool sounding chord. You may make something interesting out of that. You could bring that up an octave. All right, so we're going to go up the whole fretboard with the chords. So it's open, 2, 1, 2, first finger on 3rd fret, 5th, 7th, 8, 10, 12. Now you can always expand on these chords if you really know how the notes work. So for instance, I could do a chord that's, and it doesn't matter if you know the theory of it, as long as it sounds cool to you, I could do like 7, 8, 10 across these strings. 8, 10, 12. And then expand from there. I could pull those off. So again, the sky's the limit with the amount of riffs that you can create. Now the last thing I want to say is you can take the open strings and then play notes on the 6th string going up the minor scale and create cool sounds. And I'm doing it with clean tone. You could do it with distortion as well. Songs like Foreclosure of a Dream by Megadeth, as well as Aerials by System of a Down, are 2 examples of songs that do something like this. So if you know the scale, you just get a pattern going. Then we go 2nd fret, 3rd, 5th, 7, 8, 10, and then you can go up to the higher notes an octave above that if you want. And then experiment with that. And then you could add fretted notes on the other strings and just experiment with that, make it more interesting. Now I have other videos in a series, I think it's a 4-part series, how to write a metal riff in standard tuning, so feel free to check that out. I did it in a similar framework, and it's also very different when you're in E standard, how your power chords work. It's a little bit harder, I think. Hope you got a lot of value from watching this video. So if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, if you want free charts of chords, scales, and exercises, check out the link down below in the description. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.